So we'll go ahead and officially call to order at 7:02.
Let's do it.
Hey, Angela. She's logging on now.
Ooh, we got a full house.
Hello, Miss Angela.
Hello. Good evening. Good evening.
All right. Yep. Everybody's here, and Chuck is double booked, so he'll be with us for a few minutes, and then he's off to another engagement.
Okay.
And by the way, everybody, I want to tell you what it is. We, along with a series of churches, are sponsoring what we're calling COVID conversations. And so tonight's conversation is depression in a pandemic. So I'm gonna head to that in just a couple of minutes.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome.
And I may need to slip out. I think my wife is standing over me right now, wanting me to come help her with something. So
Okay, no worries.
You see me disappear for a moment. That will be what that is.
Okay.
No problem. And everybody should have received the email with the agenda for tonight and the meeting minutes from August. Everybody got that?
I certainly got the agenda. I got the minutes and a proposal. I don't know if I saw the agenda.
It went out last week.
Okay, I'll look again.
No worries. And so if you would take a moment just to review the minutes. Thank you, Bob, for being kind enough to put that together. And let me know if there's any changes, things we need to add, any of that.
Yes, I am striving to be more proactive with this Matthew's email. I had to, after our last meeting, I wasn't even able. Am I muted?
No.
Oh, I wasn't even able to access it. So now that I access it, I have to remind myself to constantly check it. So I apologize. I know I've been a day late and $1 short with checking this particular email. And thank you, Hazen. You did respond. I said, literally, as soon as I hit send on that, I checked it. It had mistakenly gone into the trash, and I looked in the trash and it was right there. So I was able to click right in. But thank you, Hazen, for your prompt response. I appreciate that because I'm looking at the screen now. Anyway, I can't tell.
And Marilyn, I have the same challenge. I try to be intentional about checking that email, and sometimes it slips my mind, so I understand.
And it's so funny. I thought I had never checked in. As soon as I went to my Mac and I clicked on the website, it populated the everything. I was like, so I guess I've done it before. So now I'm really intentional. I'm going to add it to my phone and to my my other device so that it'll just be at the ready, like all of the others.
Oh, and as you guys are reviewing the minutes, what Marilyn said was valid. There was a second piece that was accompanying that, which was a proposal that Bob also typed up based on the conversation we had at our last meeting. And so that's something we can approve the minutes separate from that, but certainly want to walk through that to make sure we've captured everything as we intended. And if there's any changes we want to make on there. So as it relates to the August minutes, do we have any changes? Anything that needs to happen there?
Yeah, I was going by my memory. It was a bit cold, so if there are other things, I'll be glad to add them.
No, it looks pretty solid. I make a motion to accept the minutes as they are.
All righty. Second.
We lost 2 members, but I'm sure they're in favor. Any all opposed? Second. All right. We're trying to second the minutes.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. Perfect. So there's the piece. Now, this is really weird because I printed all my stuff for tonight, but that second piece that I was just referencing, one of my staff members must have picked it up because it's not with the rest of my packet. So if somebody has that in front of them, that was the piece that Bob created, and it was a supplement to the minutes. If someone wants to walk us through that as a part of our discussion to make sure we've captured kind of what our thoughts were as it relates to how the CDC might be able to move these discussions forward on a town level.
I do have it, and I did have some thoughts on it as well. So let me see if I can lay my hand.
Can I share my screen and get it up?
Yes.
I think so. Yeah. Well, Hazen, you can give him permission if he needs it.
I thought I had everything behind me so I'd be ready for this. And then look at me not ready for this. Perfect. That's it.
You're the best, Bob.
Okay.
I've never done that before. That's good.
Gold star for you.
Y'all can see this thing draft here. And
So I fell down a rabbit hole with this thing and looking at some of the information that was pulled through. And I hope Chuck bounces back on, because I think the 21-day racial equity, I'm looking at number 2. I mean, like, I was looking through, so I'll of course talk about I didn't look at the agenda. I was still trying to find it, but I didn't want to not be engaged in this. But if the agenda part, in terms of picking up the knapsack information, I know I sent out the updated, like, beautiful seed model that, is really the go-to method that she uses, or that the program uses. I looked at it again, like, as time has gone on, like, really just kind of trying to center myself as the audience would be. Like, I love it and am passionate about it, but like the first line talks about in women's studies at Wellston University and blah, blah, blah. It just feels a little collegiate and wonky and kind of put offish in a way that I wouldn't want. I mean, not to be condescending, but it feels like, I don't know, like a college. It just feels a little collegiate and I don't know, not wanting to be tone deaf. So I was just mindful of that when I went through it and read it. Some of the pieces seem very, very more apropos. Like there's a section on there, we can pull that up when we get to it, that has a round 1 and round 2 with specific conversations for people to reflect kind of what we were talking about, like way down on like page 7 or something down there. But as I was reading through everything, she really references a lot of, very collegiate and research based. And it just feels a little, I just want to be mindful of the tone and like it's not put offish and making people feel like people haven't been in school for a long time. It resonates with me, but that might not resonate with everyone, right? So I had that in my mind as I was going through this again. And when I clicked on the 21-day racial equity habit, first of all, seeing that it has receipts, because the Matthews United Methodist Churches used the program before, and then remembering, I think in a previous meeting that we had, the Eddie Moore Jr. information came out. When I tell you I clicked on that and fell down a rabbit hole because it was so amazing, it is so flipping amazing. And I mean, you have access to it, Robert, so if you want to click on it, and that's fine. I mean, I was going to go through that whole piece, but the and Hazen, the white fragility and bits with Robin are in there, little bits, but the way it's broken down, it's like these nugget sizes, and it has this, like, the 21-day challenge itself has like a checklist, and each checklist has, I mean, it's so easy in terms of the way we consume information. And I mean, there's like a plethora, so much information. You can look at the title and decide, are you interested? Each little area, there's a checkbox, and we can go through it and look. It is phenomenal. It is far better than anything that Peggy, I was looking to see if Peggy's resource was in there. Her resource didn't even make the cut. And it's not even like, it's not even like horrible. I mean, it is so flipping good. And I fell down a rabbit hole because when you go down, and I would assume, I was going to ask Chuck, when you go to the website, and it has all of the different types of, it has kind of the same language of the 21-day challenge. They have it for faith. They have an equity challenge specifically for protests. And they have one, of course, they had the education one. So I fell down the education rabbit hole. And when I tell you, there's something for everyone. It is awesome. It is like the not intimidating. It has for the collegiate person, for the wonk, everything, man. So I'm a fan of this. I say throw out whatever I was talking about, put whatever I was talking about on the back burner. This thing is the thing in conjunction with the history of the Cresdale community. Because I thought when I was still on that mindset of really thinking about the audience, like, everybody doesn't want to go to college, but I mean, if you're in that mindset and you're looking around you and the things around you and the history there, I just thought those two together, like that being number 2 should rise to number 1. And that 21-day challenge, I'd be willing to do it, lead the charge, be a part, be a guinea pig. It is so flipping good. So that's my 2 cents.
So how do you really feel?
I'm never like a half measure. Sorry. I'm either like full throttle or like, gee, wake up. Are you with us? Hello. Are you with us? Okay. Sorry.
No, and I think that's good. And for the purpose of the conversation on the agenda, Marilyn, what we had talked about, Hazen had sent over some bullet points. And so it's in reference to some of what's mentioned here on Bob's draft. But we were looking at what we discussed in the last meeting. So hosting the community forums, and then the different topic ideas were the history of Cresdale, having Harvey Boyd or another longtime resident sharing, their story and memories. the white privilege, unpacking the invisible knapsack was on there. And then we had put a bullet point about needing some other topics. So that falls in line with what you're saying. The second piece of it was the Cultural Diversity Committee presents. And so documentaries on race in America. And so looking at doing documentaries when we can meet in large groups again, and perhaps doing that at the park for one of the churches, and then a group discussion after the movie. And so there were just a couple of ideas behind that as well. One was 13th and Race, the Power of an Illusion, which is a 3-part PBS special. And in parentheses, it says HB's idea. That would be our friend Hazen Blodgett. And then same, looking for other ideas. So those were kind of the crux of what was inserted into the agenda based on this document and what we talked about as a group last time.
You know, and as you're saying that, I remember reading it. It's somewhere. Of course, I can't find it at this moment.
No worries.
I remember because I did a deep dive. But when I did a deep dive, like, because as I was reading it, it just sounded tone deaf. Like, you know what? Because I'm just thinking about people. Now I'm back in school and thinking about parents and just different perspectives. And I'm like, everybody is not going to feel this. Like, I love this, but this is like, want. And it's already sensitive stuff. So let's meet people where they're, let's not turn them off and make them feel like, you know, they're being talked down to in the beginning. That's just initially how I felt. I felt that and I kept feeling that. So I wanted to just acknowledge that and not ignore that and then share with you to, like, you know, let you know that's how I felt and see how you that. So
I appreciated that knapsack paper. That was very helpful to me personally.
Okay. I mean, me too. I loved it. I'm just saying when I read the other thing, I just wanted to be mindful. It felt a little like starting off with feminist studies at Wellesley University. Researchers have shown blah, 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 blah. I mean, for everyone, that's just not their jam, you know, and I was just being mindful. And it goes on and on like that for like quite a bit until it gets to some practical hands-on stuff. And what I shared with you initially is more the hands-on stuff. Like I said, the things that I pulled up before, I remember it was all in the columns, like 3 columns. I shared it. And so it's just been revised for the 2010, for all of this. And like I said, it's good for the presentation parts, but some of it was just a little, a little bit much, a little wonky. Just want to be mindful.
Marilyn, now that Chuck is back, did you want to mention Chuck?
Yes.
She is very excited about the 21-day racial equity habit building.
Yes, was that your input? When I went on that website, you missed me going on a whole tirade. It is phenomenal. It is phenomenal. Like I went in and went down the rabbit hole, not only for like I saw that the 21-day challenge, they have it for faith, and they have it also for other equity, for, protesting. I was saying how I went down a rabbit hole for education, but the one specifically that you have here for the 21-day challenge, that's just for the it is, oh my God, yes, this, look at this, scroll down, look at this, so awesome, right? So all of these are click-onable. It's the thing, the click here, so the digital version, that's what I got excited about, that click here, right there, the digital version, that thing right there. Click on that for us, please. Yes, that is so awesome. Like that can put you in your sweet spot. Look at that. So it's like a little checkoff list for each day. And then back to the screen has the, okay, go back. I've been teaching class. I've been teaching middle schoolers all day. I had an all virtual lesson. So for the read part, you click on there, right? Because you're in the read section and that's your checklist. So go ahead, click on the read. And then look at those resources. Oh my gosh. Ridiculously. Okay. And then they have our girls. See, there's White Fragility with our girl, D'Angelo, but she's just in the mix of a ton. One from a student action, right? Call to action. What? It is just overwhelmingly awesome. I'm over. I know.
So Marilyn,
I think it is so awesome.
So Marilyn, like from a, oh shit. So can y'all hear me?
Oh yeah.
Sorry for the cuss word. It said my internet was unstable. So Marilyn, is the idea, do you read this stuff and then come back and discuss it? That's what I'm interested in, is like, I don't know if it's community consciousness, but here's my thoughts. What are other people's thoughts? Like, how do you see, I can see reading. Is it just an individual kind of study course, or how does the group get back together and...
Okay, so look, so if it's the way I'm looking at it, and I like Chuck has done this before, so I can certainly defer to the person who has had the experience with it before he has to run out of the room. But the way the 21-day challenge, like you can come together for that, for whatever they're coming together, and scroll down for read. I mean, there's something for everything to take back with you, conversations, podcasts. And when you're together, like make sure, okay, we're going to go on this 21-day challenge together, have that be the group thing. And then the check-in or the suggestions or the whatever, like someone would have to, be the person to spearhead, monitor, control, kind of be the cheerleader. I don't know, for that whole bit, as we continue to have it, like say the beginning of the 21 day, the end of the 21 day, and have that check-in, whatever that check-in looks like for the check-in list, because as we go back, I know I need to control the screen so I can go back into but looking at that. So if we figure out a system for how we're going to focus on the read and what that looks like, I mean, yeah, it looks like creating a curriculum that's kind of already in place, but I mean, this is a exorbitant amount of resources to do that in any way. So your intention being, Hazen, to have a way that we can pull it together, make it cohesive, have a conversation. All of these things are aspects of that. I threw the baby out with the bathwater with the knapsack, but there's a piece in there that's awesome for that specific purpose. But I mean, in terms of people who just want to do something like, what can I do? I want to feel like I'm doing something like today. How can I make a difference? Like, oh, here's the 21-day challenge. There's a click thing and we can do this and we can check in with each other, like that kind of thing. And then all of these things are, we're scrolling down, you can see like for each and every one of those, I don't know, was it 10 or 7, whatever those items are, there are those different resources. So yeah. We watch. What can you watch? What can you notice? How can you connect, reflect, stay inspired? So each of these things. So it could be initially coming together, just introducing this challenge and what it looks like and what the steps are and that whole kind of thing. And then doing a check-in and setting up how that looks going forward. That's an idea I have just coming off the top of my dome, based off the top of my head, based on what Hazen's asking. But I certainly want to defer to Chuck because you've gone through this and I knew that it was something you've experienced and to get your insight as well. But I'm super duper excited about it because I think it's a really, really awesome resource.
So the best way, the very best way to do it is 4 different times together, one at the very beginning where you make sure that everybody understands what they're going to be doing. And then you kind of walk them through, what their week is going to be like. Then you come together after 1 week, you come together after a second week, and then you come together after the 3rd week. So what that does is it gives you 4 times. You've done a lot of reading, you've done a lot of video watching, things like that. But at the end, you've also spent 4 times in this little community that has been shaped and formed, and you have a great opportunity for discussion in those settings.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
You see, doing that online, doing it virtually, Chuck, could that work?
Yeah, sure does. In a perfect world, no. But, these days, I think virtually works about as good as anything. And, the last one we had probably had about 35 in it. And it was engaging and energizing. You could tell these people were fired up about what they had experienced.
That sounds awesome. See, I'm not the structured thinker. I'm the this person thinker. So I always need a this person that, you said 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, boom, boom. Love you, Chuck. Thank you so much. That is absolutely ideal. Absolutely. You would think as a lesson planner, I'd be able to think like that, but.
And Chuck, as far as the facilitation of that, is there one particular person that facilitates kind of each one of these sessions? Does that rotate?
Usually. I would think, Natisha, again, we're going to offer it one time, but we might want to offer it 3 or 4 times in a calendar year.
Okay.
And so you have a facilitator for each one of those. The one making sure greets everybody when they come together, all of that, and they just kind of guide the discussion.
Okay.
That's really awesome.
Marilyn, did you volunteer to be the facilitator?
She would be good. She'd be good.
You asked me and I never said no. And I was being a little, actually, when you asked, it was all on that knapsack thing. And so I was kind of just things in my head. But this, I am super excited about. This is awesome. With this as a program and this, and then Chuck's experience and the program being set up. And oh my gosh, yes, this is friggin' phenomenal. I'm really excited about this. I think this is awesome. Oh my gosh. And since
Marilyn, I promise you this, I've rarely seen anything this transformative for people. I've rarely seen it when it comes to these matters around racial justice, it just turns people on their ear if they walk it through.
Okay. I think it's awesome. The resources blew me away. And I only went through, I mean, I did a deep dive, but like I said, I made a left turn in education. I didn't even go all the way down. But just what I saw was like, I was like, this is, whoa, I couldn't wait for the meeting so I could say, y'all, whatever the stuff I was talking about before, forget about that. This right here, this is awesome. Yeah, this is good stuff. Good stuff. Oh my gosh. Best of the best.
I like the idea of what Chuck said as well. So once we've done this and kind of get that under our belt, being able to offer that throughout the year. So maybe once a quarter or something like that. Or if the demand is greater than that, having the opportunity to do that, but at a minimum, perhaps quarterly.
These are all of the things. See, look, this is kind of what you were talking about, the connect part and all the, like it has everything. I didn't even do a deep dive. This is so awesome. This is so good. And like you said, the 4 chunks, week, double down, do all that. That is, yes, this is awesome.
And Natisha, I mean, this is the kind of thing that, just could become a part of the heart and soul of who we are. Our cultural diversity group, I mean, we offer this on an ongoing basis.
Planning tool to stay on track. So it's digital and a hard copy. Yes. Oh, the educator in me, the curriculum creator in me is so excited. This is fantastic. I think this is fantastic. Yes.
Hazen, what do you think about offering something like this to the commissioners and mayor as well?
Oh, I love that. I love that in particular. But what I was thinking about is, it may take us a while. Like at some level, I was thinking about, okay, what are we going to do every other month? And we kind of plotted. It seems to me this is like a jump start, and it's kind of, dang, can y'all still hear me? It says my internet's on. Okay. Seems to me we should jump on this 21-day challenge right now while we're trying to figure out, let's say, an annual thing. We can have 2 things going at one time, I guess that's what I'm saying. And to me, what would be interesting is go to the council, the town board, sooner than later and pitch this, get their buy-in, and then we use the town's social media platforms to get the word out. But I want to make sure the board is comfortable with it. And the mayor, because I talked to him about what we were talking about last meeting, he was comfortable with that. So I don't see why there'd be any discomfort. But really what I'm trying to do is get buy-in so it feels like it's from CDC, but it's also from the community. It's just not the churches or just not a subset. It's a community-wide thing. And please join us as a community, as Matthew's residents kind of thing.
I think the other benefit to a program like this is this one allows us to introduce this to them, to have a further dialogue with them, and then to be able to do some of these other things that we've talked about. So like doing the movies in the park, potentially, they're going to have a much greater buy-in having seen this other work come before that. Not only that, what is the interest and engagement from the town? So if we see there's such a high level, that's just another selling point for us when it comes to getting their support.
Yes.
Guys, I hate to do this to you, but I'm going to have to slip on.
No, you've done your thing. Thank you.
Appreciate you all so much. All right.
All right. So I'm going to be looking for more receipts. Thank you. That was awesome. Oh, now I can see Angela again. See, thank you. You dropped out. Now I can see you were in my purview. Hey.
Been enjoying your enthusiasm.
I was gonna say, see, if I had seen your face, I probably would have talked myself down a little bit. You would have helped me be like, okay, calm down, girl, calm down. But I couldn't see you, so I was all over the place. It was really cool. What do you think about that? Did you get a chance to look at the 21-day challenge or think about that?
I think it's wonderful. And I was going to comment, I love the idea of doing more than one. Mm-hmm. I think the first one is kind of like the test group, right? And then I think word will get out of how good this is. And I just think the demand to be there. And I mean, this is good for all ages. So I see some of our teenagers being a part of this. And so I just think it's good. It's good stuff.
All right, cool. I'm with it. I'm fully invested.
Maybe as we build out this plan, so if this is something we solidify and take to the commissioners, maybe what we do, so say we decide quarterly, right? in between those times, we could do some of these other things we talked about. I just wrote in, weave these stories in between. So looking at like a Mr. Boyd or the history of Crestdale, so we can have those in between that time as topics of discussion. So it's the same, continue just to kind of build on what we're doing and keep that momentum going.
Absolutely.
I've got a technical
Great
question.
idea.
Do y'all see me in addition to the screen?
Yes.
So I haven't disappeared. Okay.
Nope.
I just want to be careful.
You are
You're a little
still
small, Bob, but we can see you.
Technologically savvy you are, sir.
okay. Well, I think even that we had
So
quite a
Letitia,
Go ahead, Hazen.
so my suggestion, would be for you and Marilyn, unless somebody's got a different strategy, to come before the board. My thought would be the first meeting of September, which is September
October?
10th, maybe.
October.
But, yeah, sorry. First, my month is cruising by, but
I know.
Oh my.
yes, first meeting in October, which is October 12th. And we normally do a memo. We put together a memo, but then I think for y'all to talk about this and get their brains understanding what, to me, this is a great win for the CDC and the town and the community that I think something we could really be proud of.
Okay. And Marilyn, maybe you and I can just get together offline.
Sure, absolutely.
Sit down and kind of work through.
I think the review or the experience, the past experience that Chuck has with the program and being able to say how transformative it was, because I mean, just me reading it, I mean, even if he hadn't said those words, I would even he said, oh yeah, it was kind of crappy, blah, blah, blah. But having gone through it and being able to say how transformative it was over 35, that thing, I think that's an important voice to have, either direct quote or directly out of his mouth. Either way, I think that would be an important addition because those are receipts.
I agree 100%. And so I can check with him about his schedule and his availability to participate that evening, because I would love for him to speak on that because he has done this firsthand. So,
Yeah.
Okay, I will follow up with Chuck on that. Okay.
Yeah.
I like the direction of that. And I do think the other things that we have as far as the topic ideas and the documentary ideas are all very valid. And I think if we can get this other piece rolling, it just gives us more to weave throughout this as we start to flesh this out and kind of refine it and make it what we want. And I think it'll be valid too, as we start to see what the response is and hear what that feedback is, then we can start to tailor based on what we're hearing from the community or what we're seeing as maybe a need we're not meeting in the information that we're sharing.
Indeed.
Okay.
As I'm looking at this, the 13th and the Race to Power, those two, that PBS special, both of those things are resources that are in that 21-day challenge. Mm-hmm. So say they we're in one of those weeks, and that could be something, I think, I read that, or, I saw that, but I didn't get a chance to look at it then. So then when it comes back around, they're like familiar with it, because both of those things were there. The 13th Amendment was in there a couple of times, a couple of different places. But yeah, so yes, I'm really excited about that. I'm so happy he shared that.
Okay. Any thoughts from Angela, Bob?
No, I think we're good. I would say let's keep moving forward.
I don't know. Anything from you, Bob, as far as comments about that?
Bob, you good?
Yeah, I'm just changing this here.
He's working. So, Marilyn, I'll reach out. I'll shoot you an email. And if we can, whether you want to meet via Zoom, if you want to come by the Habitat, or you want me to meet you somewhere, whatever you're comfortable with.
I haven't been social in a while, but we could talk about it. We could talk about it. Yeah, I am receptive. Like, since I'm back at school, between safe distancing and masks and eating, I'm sure we can find something to work out. Either way, I'm totally receptive. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll reach out. We can set something up too. So I think what we just went through really is the bulk of what we wanted to talk about. So I think this gives us a direction based on kind of what we initiated at the last meeting. So I think we can sit down, kind of flesh that out even further, and certainly pull in Chuck for his expertise. And Hazen, can you maybe either in bullet points or just something very simple, a few sentences, as it relates to how we should tailor what we're going to present, what's the ideal format for that, length of time, that kind of thing, just so that we're prepared?
I will.
Okay, perfect.
It's okay if I stop sharing screen now?
Yes, sir.
In fact, now I found everything I was looking for. I didn't realize, I keep forgetting I have to go to Finder in my Mac. Finder, everything's a download. I was looking all over the place, and now I found everything, but blah, blah.
And Hazen, we'll also, once we get that info and once Marilyn and I have the chance, we'll share that with the group, certainly to get any feedback or any other input, and then that draft to Hazen, so we know we're in line with what we should be.
What I'm thinking about is, so we have a section that says advisory boards to give presentations. But I think what would be smarter, like under normal departments, what they do is we have a memo, and it's a memo format, and then we have a recommendation. And I think really here, we want to be clear with the board. Here's what we want to do. We'd like you to vote on this to move forward. So it's clear. It's just not kind of talk, because I feel like, listen to this group, we are ready to move and we want action. So that would be my intent to get to you and Marilyn.
Okay, perfect.
We can follow that directive.
When would you see something like this starting? When we start when's the first day?
That's a great question, Bob. Maybe, I think, to Marilyn's point, I think a conversation with Chuck outside of this to kind of look at, from a format perspective, what resources we would need, whether we're going to try in person or do on Zoom type format. And so I think we need to work through the logistics of that first to know what we would need to be able to roll out. But it sounds like sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and knowing that there's 4 weeks, so at least there's a beginning and an end to look at it. So me, I know I haven't even gotten a chance to talk to the teacher yet, but I know for me, I'll look at the resources so I can start to see like what that first week will look like and what the beginning thing and end thing to really like kind of familiarize myself. Because if we're going to present this thing, I mean, so that I don't want to put the cart before the horse, because I'm excited, but I'm an excited person and I need to double down and what that looks like in chunks. Now that we know it's 4 chunks, right? And what that looks like and how that will be facilitated. So that will matter as well. And like I said, I'm a quick study and I'm very excited. So, it's a matter of whatever works best in terms of, sooner than later, but definitely I want to familiarize myself and have that conversation. Excuse me.
Agreed. The only other piece, well, first, is there any more around that or the topics or the documentaries? Are we kind of good with where we've landed, where we'll kind of flesh this first piece out and that'll help us develop the rest of the plan?
Yep.
Everybody okay with that? Yep. All right. The only other piece we actually had on the agenda was discussing whether or not you all would like to resume in-person meetings starting in October. And so that's certainly open for discussion. We can continue to meet via Zoom if that's where the comfort level is, but we also have the opportunity to return in October and meeting at Town Hall.
I don't know. I like Zoom now. I'm a Zoomer. Unless someone else feels differently, I like Zoom. Trying to keep my school from making us go all virtual. I like to be home as much as possible.
I know it's certainly more convenient for those traveling too, and just the time of the meeting. So, I mean, I'm open to whatever. We're a small enough group that I feel we can adequately social distance and do that, but certainly want people to, there's no rush for us to come back in person. Right, Hazen? No rush for that.
I feel exactly the same way. I mean, I would say if we're comfortable meeting, let's keep meeting on Zoom. It seems like we function well as a group. I don't think face-to-face is going to give us that much better interaction, and it's safer. We're not in phase 3 yet, so that would be my recommendation.
Okay.
I second that emotion.
Okay, that sounds good to me. So we'll just plan on that. Our next meeting is October 27th for this group, but Angela and we'll get Marilyn and Chuck and I will work out where we can have a conversation to then be prepared to present something at that October 12th meeting. So we would circle back with you guys prior to that to make sure we've engaged you for any feedback on what we draft for that. Is there any other business?
Yes. Are you going to talk? I know you're going to say, is it you? You want to talk about the interview?
Oh, yeah.
Robert, was that what you're about to do? Were you about to say about the Okay, Robert, I'll let you take it because I've been talking quite a bit and I can rest my vocal cords.
I just wanted to say that we set up to, Lori is going to set up interviews next week, Tuesday or Thursday. Just wasn't able to put it together before the meeting tonight. So hopefully we'll have those done by our next meeting and make some kind of recommendation.
We lost a person. You probably saw that email. I responded to Lori. She sent it out this evening. Michelle, somebody had her name written down. She has 3 names. But she couldn't be a part of this, but she's still deeply involved in Matthews. And if we want to consider her for other things going forward, she'd be down. She probably would want to be a part of the 21-day challenge. I'm sure she'd be down for that. So, yeah. And I responded to Lori for all of us. I told her I thanked her for all of us. So.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so we'll keep you posted on that as well, but the format will be the same. We'll do 30-minute interviews with folks who are interested, and we actually have, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 5 of us, so we actually have 4 seats that we can fill. We have 4 vacancies because we're a group of 9, so we have some opportunity there, and that would be great, especially I feel we're starting to kind of get the ground underneath us. And so then once we've solidified that, to have people help move us forward, that would be great.
I think that'll happen. Yeah.
I agree. We've been trying to get there. I'm telling you, we've been trying to get there. So I can see that light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, the world is helping, like it takes the, what is it? Diamonds deep pressure. This world is a lot of pressure. We can become shiny, bright diamonds in this environment.
That is true. All right. Anything else from the group? Hazen, anything we missed?
No. I mean, I think 21-day challenge is the ticket, right? It's kind of programmed.
Yep. Uh-oh, he's frozen. You're frozen.
Easier, we're going to have a big impact. That's what I like.
Yeah.
We got most of what you said. Okay.
What about
test?
Don't have to reinvent it.
We're good. It's all good. That's the bottom line.
Absolutely.
And Bob, what you said is correct. It's not something we have to reinvent. It's packaged. It's got the resources. It's just a matter of facilitation and bringing those folks together. So
it's good stuff. It's good stuff. It's G approved. If it's G approved, it's good stuff.
Yeah, all right. I think our job here is done then.
Let's end this sucker.
Okay, well, if there's nothing else, Marilyn and I commit to get with Chuck and get these other pieces together and circle back with you guys. And otherwise, we'll call it at 7:40, which might be our
earliest and productive. I mean,
that's right.
Productive is, I think Angela's was the most productive. We had to create stuff, but we were in person and creating stuff. But this productive, short time, we did that. Yes.
Good deal. All right.
Make a motion that we end the meeting right now.
All right, you got it. 7:40 it is.
All right.